Good morning, evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today to review Gladiator 2, directed by Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott. For the 13 people listening who don't know, is the original director of Gladiator 1, boys.
Well done.
Thank you. Music was composed by Harry Williams instead of Hans Zimmer. I wonder why he didn't do the music. I don't know, maybe Hans was like, nah, bloody Gladiator 2, it's going to be trash. And he probably didn't want to do it. Honestly, the music in the film was pretty forgettable, except obviously the original soundtrack that they had for Gladiator 1, they have had in Gladiator 2. But I don't know, the soundtrack, nothing special. They really kind of relied on the original soundtrack, honestly, to carry the heavy parts of the film.
I don't really remember.
Relied on everything from the original film to carry that stupid film. Anyway, you guys go first.
Where the Roman Empire is under the rule of the twin emperors, bitch boys, Gaeta and Caracalla. Where there's conflict of ideals between the emperors and the protagonists. The protagonists are the main actors in the movie. Basically, Hanno, which is the main actor in the movie. So that's the whole idea of the movie. So the movie, just continuing on with the plot, the movie basically opens with a war between the emperors and the city that Hanno is part of. You can call Hanno's city the kind of the rebellion against the main capital city, because the main capital city is like basically corrupt, and Hanno and their city don't really want anything to do with it. But that's basically where it takes place. There's a massive war, and to avoid spoilers, we'll probably go through spoilers later on in the film, later on in the review. But we'll start off there. So, how's it going?
That's nothing. It looked fine, I guess.
Yeah, what did you overall think of Jared Boland, the 13th?
I feel like, the start of it, they nothing. It looked fine, I guess. I don't really remember. I wasn't very interested in the CGI monkeys.
Really, I was the opposite.
Really, I did. I was like that for a little bit of it, but yeah, I think there's like a lot of stuff with people going like, "Oh, it looks horrible." I'm like, I don't think it looks too horrible, but I think there was sharks in there as well at one point.
Yeah, the sharks are cool. I mean, they look cool.
Yeah, I think it kind of felt like because literally I watched Gladiator 1 right onto Gladiator 2. So,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I had freaking Gladiator. I watched it for the first time. I was like, this movie's sick, man. And watched Gladiator 2. And
you watched the whole 3-hour film?
Yeah, so 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Matt.
For 4 hours. 4 hours, Matt. My back was killing me.
You're back.
No, the second one, the second one felt like it was sort of doing the same thing as the first one, and I can get why, but it's just like it because Hanno, the new Russell Crowe boy, is.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
He's like just like being the same person as the main character in the first one, just like saying like everyone stand back, sort of thing like that. I was just like, I mean, I get why, because like, he's looked up to the original first Gladiator. So I'm really sorry I forgot the name of what's Russell Crowe's character.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
I know was basically being Maximus 2.0. And not in I've seen movies where they do that, where like the new hero is sort of like based off like the original hero, and it's kind of cool. This kind of just felt a bit campy, and like, yeah, I don't know, just that much of a fan of it. Denzel Washington just did not speak in the language. I feel like he tried a little bit, but sometimes he was just like, "It's wrong, motherfucker!" Like, and
Yeah, he was Macronus from the Bronx, basically.
yeah, and I think I'm not sure if we're going spoilers. I think the Caesars, the two Caesars were alright. That one kid that was in Stranger Things, he was good like that. He was a real piece of shit, Mark.
Oh, the main
So
one or the one with the monkey?
the main one who was more coherent. Like
Okay,
he was
yeah.
even like, yeah, the coherent one was like the Stranger Things guy, where he's like, oh, my little brother's not well, he's an idiot, sort of thing like that, and um. Yeah, and Pedro was in it, and he was in it. I don't really remember much. But it was an interesting angle because it was sort of like yeah, Pedro's character, I'm not gonna remember his name, killed Hanno's girlfriend, and Hanno's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, but that's his. Then after a while it's like, oh, he was only just doing his orders. He didn't even want to do that. So, and he's actually a good guy, Matt. Like, yeah.
He's not bad.
Well, yeah, originally I wasn't a big fan of the cast in the beginning of the movie. I thought Hanno was a bit too Hollywoody. I wasn't a fan. Even Pedro Pascal in the beginning, he was kind of bland. Originally, I wasn't a big fan of the cast in the beginning of the movie. I thought Hanno was a bit too Hollywoody. I wasn't a fan. Even Pedro Pascal in the beginning, he was kind of bland. I'm like, and but as the movie progressed, they actually kind of went with it. I thought they did a pretty good job. Denzel Washington, from the beginning, he's perfect. He plays that perfect kind of cool character. Yeah, so overall, I thought the characters were pretty well done. Yeah, how about you, Mitch? What do you reckon?
Well, if anybody rewinds back to when we did the trailer reaction for Gladiator 2, bottom line, the word was unnecessary. And it's either going to be a terrible film that's unnecessary, or it was going to be a great sequel that was also unnecessary. And I don't want to say it was terrible, but it was severely lackluster and unnecessary. Like Jared said, it's basically a wash, rinse, repeat of what happens formulaic to the first film. And the main character loses a loved one, he seeks revenge, he becomes a gladiator, fights in the Colosseum, wash, rinse, repeat. The only twist is the person he's out to get vengeance on is actually a good guy. He himself is basically the new Maximus, the general. And Pedro Pascal, yeah, I didn't mind him. I can understand why people probably feel he's a bit flat, but they just didn't use him properly. And like you said already, it borrows too much of the nostalgia from the first film for the second one to work. Even in the trailers, they're showing footage from the first film. It's like they had no faith in their product. And this is a sequel that has been getting made for a decade. I remember rumors of them talking about this back in 2010, that there was rumors about a sequel.
Oh.
And everybody joked about it, like, how are they going to bring this back? And the joke was, like, Russell Crowe's going to be a ghost gladiator. Well, so that was the joke at the time, so no one took it seriously. And then all of a sudden it was actually happening by none other than Ridley Scott. And even the biggest fans of it, such as me, were like, why? Why?
Yeah, why?
It's a perfect film. The story arc is over. It does not need a stupid sequel. And bottom line, not only was it unnecessary, it was a stupid sequel. The two best things about it is Denzel and Pedro, and even though Denzel, for me, was the most entertaining thing about it, he is so misplaced. He doesn't even try to sound like he's from, like, Ethiopia or Africa or like, the time period. He just sounds like he just came from the Bronx. It sounds like he came from Training Day. I was waiting for him to have a big monologue where he was like, King Kong ain't got shit on me.
King Kong ain't got shit on me!
But, yeah. And sorry to say, you bring a main character to replace Russell Crowe's Maximus, and he has no star power. He felt like a stunt actor that they just said, yeah, you can do stunts, we'll put you as the main actor. And, yeah, like set designs were decent, but they used too much CG. The original only used CG when it was like impossible to do it in practical, which is like giant medieval landscapes, the giant Colosseum, seeing Rome, seeing a big battle. And even then, it was dozens upon dozens of extras. So the use of animals, they had tigers fighting in the first one that they used there in the set. Trick photography and all that was used, but that tigers and all that were there, so it felt more impacted as opposed to CG baboons that are rabid. They didn't even look like real baboons or monkeys. They looked like they're from a freaking different planet.
Yeah, they look savage, extra savageized.
Yeah, poor choice after poor choice. And honestly, the worst thing for me, and this is going in more into spoiler territory, the biggest crime that they did with this film was how simple and how easily forgotten they did a service to Lucille's character, who, as anybody knows, was Connie Nielsen in the original Gladiator. Like, she played a key role in the first film, you know, as like this one tether for the balance of Rome and all that stability. And they kill her off, and it's literally forgotten about 2 seconds later. Like,
Did they kill her off? I mean, that's another thing.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that they killed her off.
they not only killed her off, but they also killed off Senator, I believe his name was Gaius, who was meant to be Gracchus, Senator Gracchus, sorry. And in the first film, they obviously set the stage at that he was going to become the new Senate leader, or the person that overrules and oversees Rome. But they have this silly flashback where everything Maximus's character did during that final duel against the Emperor meant absolutely nothing. It blows my mind that was the set plot point. Like, no, Lucius is not safe. He has to be exiled out of the capital, Rome, because he's in danger.
Yeah.
When did that happen? Like, it was quite clear the only threat to Lucius was Commodus. And Maximus, in a duel with Commodus, set everything right for everybody. But no, the plot says, no, Lucius is not safe. The mother had to abandon him, so he could grow up and become a slave and a gladiator, and somehow he's become a great fighter, which I never believed. I don't see how you can go from, that to, in a foreign land, become a great warrior where you get thrown back in the gladiator ring and can do everything just as good as Maximus. It's just not believable at all. It's just I'm ranting because I knew from the beginning it was going to be unnecessary, and that's what it was. Bottom line, unnecessary sequel with some decent moments, some decent performances, but it just amounted to nothing. Had no significant importance. It was just a cash grab for nostalgia, like most things are these days. And every time now where I go back to watch the original film, I'm going to think about the stupid decision I made to turn this into basically now a prequel. Because, the Gladiator 2 is the new spec because it was, 25 years later? So everyone's talking about Gladiator 2 when it's so forgotten, and it should never have happened to begin with. Honestly, it's unnecessary, and it's just done a disservice to the first one. So there was minor moments where I thought, okay, this has got an interesting little plot thread. I did enjoy the brother emperors. I thought seeing that play out was interesting because that is something that happened a lot back in the day, where emperors were placed in either they were too young or they were imbeciles, or to today's standards were severely mentally challenged that no one saw otherwise then. So I like that kind of duality playing out, and Denzel's character manipulating them, of course, for his own personal benefit. But again, it happens too late in the game for me. The manipulation tactics and all that only occur like the second half, where, surprise, Denzel's the bad guy. he's the one pulling the strings behind the curtains. Oh, so I didn't see that coming at all. It's just, oh, I'm sorry. The biggest, stupidest thing ever was having a final confrontation between this one guy that we've seen as a great fighter, a gladiator, have a duel with Denzel Washington's character.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was
Did he die again?
he got freaking stabbed in the water or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was splashing
The
around. sort of fighting.
splasheroo, like that's just so out of character for him to put himself in even a 1% risk situation. They had 6,000 they had 6,000 warriors where the rebellion basically had like 5,000, so they had the upper hand, but yet Denzel wanted to go in there and be like, oh, and just die. It's like, okay, what?
Yep.
I don't understand who wrote that. That was really bad.
It's either really thought it was a good idea, or Denzel being Denzel, he would have had the number list star power on that film. He probably would have said, "Give me a fight with the main character," and everyone said, "Okay," and wouldn't question him on it. Maybe that's what I'm assuming happened, because Denzel's like, "I'm in my 60s. I've done 3 Equalizer films. I can take this guy." So,
Make it a sparring match. Make it a sparring match of some egotistical match, like not the final where he has to fight him for real. That was just retarded.
it would have been way more poetic if here you got, the main hero who is a fighter. He's always on the front lines. Here you have Denzel, who is a master tactician and manipulator. The final fight for Rome's heart, which is what it was meant to be, shouldn't have been a physical fight. It should have been literally the main character who's Hanno, but his real name is Lucius. He's just in hiding called Hanno. He confronts this army that, is supposedly led by Denzel, and through just himself convinces them not to attack the city. And that would, in so purpose, defeat Denzel's intentions as a political leader and all that stuff. You know what I mean? He would have beaten Denzel at his own game.
Yes.
Which would have been a lot more empowering, because the fighting should have stayed in the Colosseum, just as it did in the original Gladiator. It was significant because the Colosseum represented the heart of Rome. You know what I mean? That was the center point for why Rome is still a structural thing. But right now it was a threat that was threatening to take out Rome. One person stands between that and Rome's destruction, and instead of using his fist or his sword, he used it with talk and logic. That would have been a much more empowering outcome. And Denzel, realizing he's got nothing back at him now, he probably would have then stupidly gone to kill someone, and his own army defends Lucius and kills him. You know what I mean? That would have been a better ending, and I would have enjoyed that better, regardless of it being an unnecessary film.
Ending. Now we're in spoiler territory. I'll go on a little bit about the whole background story of where it's like, Hanno, you're actually my son. How it's continuing on from the second one. It's like, now you're safe.
Yeah.
You're not safe. Like, and, literally, I feel like whatever that stupid little story could have been, like, it literally could have been like, I don't know, like a year later, then it's like, oh shit, we got overthrown again. Not moments after Maximus just died. I'm not sure how they implied it, because it just looked like that, the flashback, where they were just like, alright, get on the horse now, sort of thing.
It was literally straight after that whole beautiful sequence in the first film. It was literally after they've carried Maximus's body. He hasn't even left the Colosseum yet. They're carrying him out, and then the mother's like, "You're not safe. Let's get out of here." It was like an alternate reality occurred. It was like someone came back in a freaking time machine and said, "You gotta get out of here. We're changing the course of time." It was such a stupid plot to add for the sequel. And you just reminded me, Jared, and now I'm having a heart palpitation of being remembered of it. They literally set it up as if Lucius was, by blood, Maximus's son, because they always referred to Maximus as his father, and he wasn't.
I can ask as well, like that.
They seriously made it out as if Maximus and Lucille had a fling, and that was actually Maximus's child, which is not the case. but they kept referring to Maximus as his father,
Yeah.
completely disregarding his actual father. It's like he was completely removed of any thought and process. It was that again that pissed me off a lot.
Well, I'm
It's just
admitting
like,
something I should admit is I actually thought he was the real father. I don't know that enough
go.
of the backstory. I actually thought he was his blood child. Like
I
that's
think
how much of a connection it seemed they have to have.
going back to the first one, and I was just like, did I miss something? Is that actually Maximus's child? I'm like,
No,
did I
no. They never suggest it in the first film either. It's quite
Okay.
clear that the two of them had children at the exact same time period to two different people. If they are trying to imply that Maximus did have a fling with her, that just again it does a huge discredit to that character. Because his whole freaking plot motivation in the first film was avenging his murdered family. If they
Yeah.
suggest that he literally had a fling with and had another son, that motivation is just completely corrupted. It's like, why do you care? You have other children out there, obviously. Start a new life with that one. No,
Yeah.
you just reminded me, Jared, about that. Oh, that's pissed me off even more about this film.
Well, that's
Oh.
that. It like to me because I was like, did I miss something out? And like, there's stories like that with this where it turns out like the good guy, cheated on their spouse and stuff like that, committed adultery, and had another son. Like, oh, I didn't know about that. You know about that. Oh, I kind of feel guilty about that. But they don't really talk about that. Talk about it. They just go like, Maximus was your dad, remember? And I'm just like, no, I don't remember. What the fuck, like that? And yeah, in the first one, Maximus is just like, I want to live on my farm with my family, who I love, and definitely would not cheat on. Like it's, uh, I think the ending with Denzel fight scene. I can't remember how it happened. I think like Denzel at one point was just like that fight scene where Denzel. I agree with you guys. I'm just like Denzel's gonna die. He just puts his sword down. He's like, let me at him. Let me at him
Yeah, that
like
was so
that.
dumb. My
I was
God.
thinking while they were fighting and Hanno was getting hit down, I would probably say, was Hanno in a big battle beforehand, so he's a bit fatigued, but even at the same time, it still doesn't make sense.
He
But
was.
also,
But
yeah.
I don't remember him getting injured at any point, and he's bloodthirsty because, like, this guy literally just killed his mother in front of the Colosseum. But the annoying thing is they don't even give a moment for Hanno Lucius to even acknowledge that. I feel like his vendetta to kill Denzel is more motivated on the fact that he killed Pedro,
Mm.
which again it just makes Connie's character just disregarded as well. And she was a significant key figure in the first film, man. Like, she was the only reason keeping Rome together because of her deranged brother. You know, if she wasn't in the picture, Rome would have collapsed a long time ago before Russell Crowe's Maximus came into the picture. And for her just to go from one scene to the next, it's like, you're my son. How could I have forgotten you after 16 years? That was the only person in that film was to die. And that was killed off so stupidly, man.
I was actually
Yeah.
kind of enjoying the movie. It was quite enjoyable, and then it completely took it away from me when that moment happened where she realizes Hanno's her son, and honestly, the movie just took a huge shit for me there. And then all of a sudden, like I was liking Pedro Pascal's character. He was actually becoming kind of, he was thinking about, okay, well, obviously the two leaders shouldn't be leaders, and they want him to join another war. He doesn't want to join a war. He honestly just wants peace. And it was actually, they were building a good character from Pedro. Then all of a sudden, it completely changed to, oh, we must save your son, and it just took a weird turn. And that was the biggest problem with me with the movie, was when she realized Hanno was the son, and Pedro was a cuck to her, a simp, and then had to like help her at all costs to save Hanno, and it became like a motherly thing. That completely ruined it.
If you're gonna have a character like that, make him the lead character. Don't have this kind of side plot to have someone back in the Colosseum. If they want to make a sequel, don't call it Gladiator 2. Have a character centralized in the politics of Rome when it's at Rome is literally at the point where it collapses. Because in that time frame, Rome only had a couple more whatever's left in its years before it actually started to subside. Bubon Play took over, the factions within Rome started to shrivel and break apart, and other tribes and other countries started to invade and all that stuff. So I would have enjoyed if the movie was based around that, literally the collapse of Rome and Pedro's character trying to be the last political figure to bring it back to central, but you got all these other people power playing for that power. You got, Denzel, you got the stupid brother emperors that don't know what they're doing. I would have enjoyed that movie more than just let's take it back to the Colosseum and wash, rinse, repeat what we've already seen, but we'll make it more bigger, we'll make it more noisier, make it more CG,
Yes.
more It's like, if it's supposed to be more spectacle, how come no one really even talks about this film?
Like a larger
just
scope. You wanted a bit bigger scope, you're saying, would have been better, instead of just very focused on Hanno wanting to kill Arcasius, which ended... That vendetta ended instantly.
That's another thing.
They just literally make a new story and not what we've already seen from the original film and tarnish it.
What were you thinking,
Don't even call it
Jared?
Gladiator.
Have Hanno just repeat everything that Maximus said, like, everyone stand behind me. It's like, shut up. And
It's to the point where he takes his armor, strength and honor. It's just... No.
No. Straight.
No. But I think after that fight scene with Denzel's boy, what was I getting at? Yeah, like kills Denzel, like while they're fighting in that, it's just like, yeah, how is Denzel like even able to keep up with this young guy who's been fighting his whole life when Denzel's character's like basically retired and probably got a bad back. What really baffled me as well, because like I think around that time when they were like fighting, it's just like, yeah, there's like two people fighting and a horde of army just behind them. It's like, I'm like, what? I'm gonna see an arrow pretty soon, but I never did. Like, wouldn't one of the team members be like, my guy's losing?
Yeah,
Or
they
something like
tried
that.
to do the whole honor system where, the two generals fight each other, but that just doesn't make sense for the story. Denzel's just, he's a greedy motherfucker.
He's spouting it as well. He's like, it's wrong, we're all greedy, sort of thing like that. We all cheat and stuff like that, like saying all that stuff, and it's just like,
And
oh,
it's
pick your own. And then when Hanno kills him, and I was like, oh, surprise. Hanno goes to
I
like,
was worried for his life.
goes to the army and goes like, it's literally, I'm not sure if you guys remember it, the anime Fist of the North Star, where it's got that really bad voice acting. Hanno just like, stands up. I'm not sure how you guys felt about this part, but it was kind of just like, oh, this is the big part where he does a speech, which he probably should have done before, what Mitch said before. But after he did it, it's just like, the speech is like, everyone be good.
Yeah.
Okay, wasn't like that, but you get what I'm saying? And I just felt like, I was like, dude,
Yeah.
this is... And then the bad guys that he's saying it to, they're like,
When I said he should talk to them, I meant have a better speech and not the one that we got.
Yeah,
Because,
remove the
yes,
fight
it was
scene.
extremely corny.
Remove the fight scene and use that time for a better speech. But honestly, I think some of the writing was decent. Like, I forgot that old white fellow's name. How Denzel was like, kind of manipulating him with bets to the point where he owned his house and all his property, and he knew that older guy. He knew all the information. All the information went through him. So Denzel manipulated that situation, not for money, but for information. And so then Denzel knew how to kind of progress his power. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like that, some of the writing was cool, and that was before the whole where they ruined the movie part, where the whole it stopped becoming a power dynamic and started becoming more about save my son. So it's like two different writers.
No, I agree.
It's like two different writers, man.
Yeah. I think the film would have been more memorable if it relayed more into the political backstabbing.
Yes.
That is Rome. Most of Rome's stories are based around backstabbing and manipulating people for power. Like, it goes all the way to the get-go. So, yeah, I agree. Like, trashing the shit out of Denzel's character, I still believe him and secondly Pedro were the best things about the film. And if the story focused around them two being this kind of clashing conflict of interest instead of having Lucius become this great warrior and all that stuff. If they just robbed Lucius's whole narrative out of it and had it focused just on Pedro and Denzel clashing for, the survival of Rome, that would have been a better story.
This is related to, so basically the whole movie, the idea was Hanno wanted revenge and he wanted to kill Pedro's character.
Cassius.
Yes. What was the turning point that made him from, I'm going to kill it, I'm going to do whatever it takes, my whole life is to just kill this guy, to all of a sudden they're in the ring and he just completely swaps into like sympathy mode?
As far as I can remember it happens in the ring.
It happens in the ring. Yeah.
I know, like, he's out to kill Pedro's character, Cassius, and Pedro's a good fighter. And that's another thing, too. There's great warrior, but Cassius and Pedro was clearly the greater fighter out of the two of them. It's like...
Yes.
It makes me question, like, how good a fighter is this guy if he can get to this point in the ring, but he has no chance against Pedro, who's obviously a great fighter, but it's just like... I don't know, inconsistency. You think he would have stood a bit more of a chance, but Pedro was one-siding that fight the entire way through until he refused to kill him, obviously. Yeah, to answer your question, Josh, it happened in that ring.
Yeah, I just felt like it's very anticlimactic because I really wanted to kill him, and all of a sudden, Pedro's like, all right, he's like, let's stop this. And he takes a knee, then all of a sudden Hanno takes a knee too. Where I feel like there should have been more of a reason. Like Pedro should have had more of a reason to swap Hanno.
No, because at that point wasn't Pedro's character. He was arrested because he plotted to overthrow the emperors.
Yes.
And Denzel got word of it, so that he was thrown in that gladiator ring to either kill Lucius or die. And when it came to the point where he had the chance to execute Hanno, he refused it. And didn't they shoot arrows at him? And that's when he falls onto his knees.
Oh, well,
so we didn't.
No, well, before that, he took a knee to like, I want to stop this fight. Like, I don't want to fight you, Hanno. I know you're the son. But at that point, Hanno was still like bloodthirsty. So it's like all it took was Hanno to take a knee and be like, I concede. All it took was like that to swap Hanno into, oh, I'm going to take a knee too, and let's just call this a even duel. What changed Hanno so much? I feel like
killed Hanno's girlfriend, so
exactly.
It was like,
and his mum tried to like go to the cell to try and calm him down, and he's like, "You're not my mother. Get away from me!" And then like,
well, I mean, that could have been the precipice. Like, he obviously didn't listen to his mother, but then he gets into the ring and he's fighting off this guy that killed his girlfriend, but this guy refuses to kill him. I mean, if I'm being shown mercy to someone that I'm bloodthirsty for, I'd like to at least think that I could read the situation a little differently.
Read the room,
you know? Read the room, yeah.
The room. Yeah, I can get that where I can just feel like, why won't you kill me? I freaking hate you like that. And it's just like, no, I really don't want this. I was doing orders. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, he didn't say sorry about his girlfriend.
No, nothing. I don't know. He just said, let's stop this.
And stuff like that, but,
and then he took a knee, and then Hanno's like, I'll take a knee too, all of a sudden, like, yeah. Anyway.
I mean, I think Hanno himself, he's a fighter, he's a warrior. He probably does have that inbuilt, romanticized honor system, where he's like saying, well, this guy had the chance to kill me and he hasn't. Why? I need to know why. Possibly. And I'm pretty sure during that fight, Pedro was like trying to reason with him and talk to him out of it as well. You know? So I think it just bolted to a head where it's like, well, this guy could have killed me, but he didn't. You know?
So he had the inbuilt honor system that even when Pedro got all the arrows into him, it seemed like he went from bloodthirsty towards him. In like 5 seconds, he went, Is this what you call, like, is this how you treat a commander? Is this how, is this the type of city you do against, like, loyal people? No, not loyal, but against people of honor? Is this an honorable kill? It's like, all of a sudden he's on his side. It's like, okay, geez, that was a bit of a turn. But I don't know, that was just something kind of small.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. That was very rushed. And that
Yeah.
line right there, where he's talking to the people of Rome, that kind of line, that kind of setup, should have been at the very end of the film, when he's having the face-off with the army and Denzel. And here's this general that they all love. You know, he's like the new general after Maximus. And we see Denzel's character give the order to kill him. And that should have been the trigger for that great speech that should have just stopped all following violence. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, you're right. That line straight after killing off Pedro's character, which they shouldn't have until the end of the film, that was severely a jump. I agree.
Yeah, it was a bit of a jump there.
It did go from someone seeing this guy no longer as his enemy to someone I love.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. There could have been like real good turning point of how Henry could have forgived him in sort of like a better way, rather
yep.
Yeah, in a better way, rather than just like the honor system. But the honor system's good, but like, yeah, it did feel rushed. It's just like, I hate you, okay. I love you because you're dead, Matt, sort of thing.
Imagine the setup was they were both put in a cell together before the fight.
Yep.
With the intention of like, well, if you're not going to fight each other in the ring, you're going to fight each other in this little cell. Because one's still bloodthirsty and the other one isn't. And they managed, after, no weapons, bare knuckles, like, Pedro managed to, like, talk himself into it. Because I'm in the cell for a reason. I try to overthrow the Emperor. The real enemies.
Yes, yeah.
And then when they come out into the Colosseum, it becomes like, one of us has to leave this Colosseum alive. So here's Pedro trying to antagonize a fight and fake the fight, so Lucius ends up killing him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been a better setup.
Yeah. Yeah, like
See, I should have written the film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a perfect example. Like they had like you said, Jared, they had a perfect opportunity to like really bring it together, but they just decided to like bloodthirsty in like 10 seconds. Oh, I love you, mate. Bloody love you, mate. But yeah, I mean, this is a 47-minute video. I'm probably gonna try and cut it down to like 30 minutes. But yeah, we got that off our chest. I mean, we could probably go all day about some of the stupid ass freaking stuff.
I've got everything known about it and all the problems I had. Like what I said before, like, and keep this in the video, a lot of it just was unmemorable. Even when Mitch was saying like the lady main character died at one point in the movie, I'm like, oh, did she die? I don't fucking remember that because it wasn't memorable. And yeah.
Oh, and that snitch, that old woman snitch. Why did she, I guess she snitched because that old white guy knows everything, so she has a incentive to snitch, I guess. But yeah, I just feel like the snitching was pretty snitch worthy. Yeah. So anyway, that's enough for today.
I feel better about myself. Finally, that
good.
So yeah.
This movie sucks.
The Emperor again. Denzel was kind of cool at parts. The Emperors were. The Emperor. Some of the scenes were pretty nice, pretty cool. Like I believe they were just. I was kind of scared of them. Like imagine having two Emperors like that. They're kind of just savage, especially the one with the monkey on his shoulder. He's just knock loose. That guy. He's got some screws missing. And
how can you be faithful to someone like that who's just like, I want to see them burn because it's entertaining to me.
That was a pretty funny scene where he tried to make the monkey the general. He's like, all right, number one in the seats, Jonathan, whatever his name, and Denzel's like, yeah, all right, like, yep. He's like, and number two is Denzel Washington's character, Mortinius or whatever. That was kind of funny, but that was probably like. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you if you listened this far. Thank you very much, and we will. If we get one comment saying do a Gladiator review, then maybe we will do like an actual Gladiator 1 review. Yeah, but yeah, we plan to do more reviews in the future, and I hope it wasn't too messy for you. We're still kind of new at all of this stuff, so hopefully we just get better over time. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough. That's all, folks.
Keep recording, 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 keep recording. You still recording?
Yeah,
Do we want to do a rating thing for it?
yeah. All right. So I give the movie, dude. Honestly, in the beginning, I probably had it at a 6.5 out of 10, but now I'm at a 4.5. Yeah, I'm at a 4.5 out of 10. Honestly, after some of the dumb writing shit. Yeah, that's where I'm at. How about you, Jared? What's your are you not entertained rating?
Not entertained at all. Like that, out of 10 or out of 5, on my letterbox account, it's like 5 stars. I think I gave it 2 stars.
All right, so that's a 4 out of 10. 2 stars out of 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
The parts that kept me entertained were good enough. You know what I mean?
How about you, Mitch?
Yeah, this is gonna be a 10 out of 10 for Mitcho.
Oh, all right.
You guys were not entertained. I am not merciful, so I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
Oh, slapperoonies.
That's a Roman rating.
All right.
Honestly, the 3 is I like Denzel, I like Pedro.
Some of the
And-
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm giving it a 3.
And I guess
Just-
they used actual locations. Some of the locations look kind of cool. I don't know.
Some, but most of it was CG.
Yeah.
That's right. The 3 it will actually bring people back to the original film. That's the only reason why.
There we go. All right, and I'll cut all this. Take 9 years for this stunt.